your boy John Torado and my twin. Look at this. Mwah! Matthew Torado, my little brother. It's been a little while since we've been here to talk about some hero shit. You know what I mean? We missed you guys. We miss everybody that comes out and jumps in and wants to listen and watch and join in on the bullshit we talk about. But we had to bring in some guests today because you know the OG and the OG of OTS here, Derrick Myers. How we doing? How we doing?
Good, bro. What's good? What's good? Good to
Oh
be
man,
back.
what's been going on in your hero life? You've been watching these series that have been out, and these movies have been going on. What's going on?
Yeah, well, actually, so y'all know I've been because of COVID and everything like that. I haven't been going to the movies, right? So the first movie I went to go see was Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Oh, oh,
Uh, that was
how much did you love
amazing.
that?
I love the movie, but the experience was people just around me. But
we, we're definitely speaking to that movie experience for sure.
yeah,
Because,
yeah.
and it's a funny thing you mentioned that because I was just talking to Matt. It's one of those movies that will probably only ever be that great in the theaters, right? Like it'll still be great.
Yes, yes,
But that
yes.
experience, and there's certain movies in Marvel or in general, right, that
Mm-hmm,
that have that great movie experience,
mm-hmm,
but then still translate to your home, right, to
mm-hmm,
DVD or streaming or
mm-hmm.
whatever. But No Way Home might not be that. So we'll get into that. I want to hear about you guys'
That's a
experiences.
really good take. I never even thought about that.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the thing, the old adage, like what ages well, what doesn't, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and I think theater experience can either hurt or make it that much better. So
yeah.
my man highlight reel. Oh my God. Listen, brother, I gotta
Okay.
tell you. Before you give your little comments. I've been working out like crazy, and I always throw on your albums and your music, and I'd be bumping when I work out, brother.
My God.
So
Thank you, man.
listen, your stuff is great. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Man, salute
How
to
you doing?
bro.
How you doing, brother? What's going on in your hero life though?
Oof.
We know about the rap life.
Yeah.
What watching?
You know what? Funny thing, brother. You know, the hero life is what fuels the rap life, man. You know, you get that urge. It's like a whole different superpower in its own way when you rap. You know what I mean? Because you get inspired by all the stuff you see on the hero screen, and you're like, man, now I need to go activate my superpower real quick and get everybody filled up. You know what I'm saying? But man, honestly, I've been catching everything I could as soon as it like releases, as much as possible. Like, let's see, the Hawkeye series, I remember catching that off top. Spider-Man: No Way Home, again, that theater experience for me was definitely something in a good way. Like, I love when a movie gets you to that point where everybody's reacting in their own ways or as a unit. And that's one cool thing that makes the theater experience still so relevant. Like, if you have a reason to go to the movies, it's always just for that, yo, how is everybody else going to react the moment person show up on your screen? Like, and to see everybody just in unison, like, yeah, you know, like, dog, it's just everything, man. So No Way Home, definitely looking forward to seeing Morbius, you know, getting very close,
yes,
Venom 2, I remember catching, and I was like, I was like, I was like, I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling it yet. So I had a chance to catch up on that.
See, I'm a victim of I'm the only one I think in this planet that actually likes shitty Marvel movies. Like, I don't know what it is. Like I like the old X-Men movies that were trash. Some of them were like Logan were good, right? But the ones that were bad, I can keep watching them. I have a weird odd addiction to it. He hates that I like them.
Oh, you're a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, you like
he is a Knicks fan. So
hey, Derrick, hold on, man. We can't do that. This is a simple hero show, man. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm trying to save him.
If anything, I was hoping in Hawkeye, Kingpin would just barrel through the goddamn MSG, so I don't have to deal with this shit anymore. Because
I know.
listen, he's overpowered compared to what he.
Oh man, talk about it.
I was hoping he just rolled through that bitch and blow it up, but whatever.
Just tell him to go grab James Dolan, you'll be good.
Yeah, something.
And of course,
Anything.
listen. So, little bro, what you been up to? I know you've been. What's going on, man? Oh, we here. We here.
I haven't seen you in 1 week.
For those who are wondering, I had to do the wondrous thing and visit my family today. So that's why Matthew and I are recording on the same little camera here on the laptop. So I hope you guys don't mind, but we're here to talk. Matt, what's been up?
I've been relaxing, stress free. I had spring break, so I had a chance to catch up on some Marvel content. I'm rewatching Daredevil. Already finished the first 2 episodes.
Yes.
So I'm just looking forward to binge. My plan is to binge watch everything. Fuck Iron Fist, but I plan to binge watch everything. Everything.
Matt, I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel you on that.
Respectfully, right? So I
had
no,
not respectfully. Yeah.
No, that's serious. Because I'm surprised they even bothered to bring that over. I guess just because for rights reasons, but it was like, why?
Because when they sent their promotions out for the transfer over, they were saying like, we're keeping rated R. This is going to stay, the way it was. Everybody was shown in the picture they posted except Iron Fist. So I was like, yo, they're if anything, Kevin Feige, Marvel, they're very aware of what fans do and don't want. Clearly, No Way Home is a perfect example of that, right? And I was like, yo, they're really gonna cancel this man. Like,
I think they're gonna recast. They have to recast
that, or maybe they give him another shot, right?
No,
I don't think they should, but I'm okay with. So we don't know what's gonna happen, right? With the Marvel series in general. Like, obviously, we know Daredevil appeared in No Way Home, right? Are they gonna say, all right, all of them got snapped? Every single one of them got snapped. So whatever happened before doesn't matter because it's been 5 years since that happened, right? So which would make sense. I think that's cool, but I think it's going to be a soft reboot. And if they do that, they can recast, right? Like,
yes,
they should. I mean,
the ending, the season 2 ending where he took out. I'm not sure, and you sadly watched it, but when he took out the guns and
yeah.
And he used the Iron Fist powers or whatnot. So I was like, that's still,
he was lazy. Goofy. He was lazy. The choreography, and that's the thing that really got me about that whole series. You have the choreography from Daredevil, from Punisher, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones that were all phenomenal.
Right.
He's an Iron Fist, and dude is just like lazy.
Bro, how, and no offense to Luke Cage as a character, no offense to Michael Colter as an actor, but realistically, he's Hulk, like, right? He's just smash and destroy. And how the hell is that better choreography than a martial artist?
It's like, embarrassing.
It shouldn't be the case, right? Like Iron Fist should be the Shang-Chi-esque.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. And I wanted him to be Asian.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not even that. It's like, and it's not only that, but like, there's no reason why, like, there should not be more cuts in an Iron Fist fight scene than a Luke Cage literally like taking his finger and then knocking someone out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I will. Depending on like how extended, so I don't want to cherry pick, right? Because some sequences are extended, so you have to cut. Obviously, cut together, like the stunt double, like doing certain actions, and then like the actor physically being there. That's understandable. But generally speaking, like I didn't like when I was watching season 1, I can definitely tell when a stunt double was there. Actually, I really couldn't. It was like cut, another cut, another cut.
Look,
cut,
Derek's
cut.
like, man, they like, fuck the. Listen, for those who don't know, Derek's a videographer, kind of cinematographer at heart as well. Like, he has some of those talents, and he understands the cuts and how you make things look better and look real and look right, like what it's supposed to be. So, I think it was a combination of all of it for Iron Fist, and we're kind of going to tangent here, but shitty acting.
Yes.
An actor that thought, hey, I'm in Marvel now, I can just ride the coattails and not work towards it, right? Where you see all these other, I mean, we have for whoever doesn't like Brie Larson, Captain Marvel, she puts the work in though.
She does.
Like she works out. She she tries to get, whether you like her acting or not, that's he doesn't. So Matthew's like face.
Right. No, like I said, talented actor.
It's just for that, you want those characters to be fully invested, and a lot of the actors and actresses that are in Marvel or in some of these series we watch, like they they are invested fully, right? They do the research on the character. They, it's almost like the Leonardo DiCaprio. He can play anyone, everywhere, anywhere, because he does his research. Like, what was it? Like Django Unchained. They say he played that actor 24/7. Like when he was in his trailer, when he was having lunch, like Jamie Foxx is like, yo, I was really starting to think this man racist, like, yo, like, cause he was really like on that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that's what I think.
It's method acting,
right?
Yeah,
it is. It's like a addiction for them. You know
I mean? And I think another thing too is like I don't think in the case of Iron Fist, I don't, the passion was there for Finn Jones. I just think, because I was like reading an article like a few weeks back, and like he just wasn't being choreographed. Like he would, I think in the art, like somewhere in the article, it said like he was learning choreography like 15 minutes. I could be exaggerating. It could be exaggerating, but like literally like the day of he's supposed to shoot. So you can't pin down the actor. Like this guy's like, hey, what do you want me to do? He's like, yeah, we'll let you know like another fight, like 5 minutes or whatever, and then we'll cut everything together.
Yeah, I don't think that was Marvel or Netflix. That was more so him and the team that was laced, that didn't do.
I think so. As soon as Kevin Feige kind of said like, hey, this is their thing, they kind of just did whatever the hell they wanted. I'm telling you right now, if Kevin Feige or Jon Favreau or anybody was involved with that, like we've seen how the Favreau's like fixing Star Wars, right? Like they don't let that happen. Like we see clearly that those series were their own entity. Now they're going to bring them in via the multiverse, or however they figure out and fix things. And maybe they do fix, maybe not the guy that plays Finn Jones, or that, you know, Finn Jones, but they got to figure that out in general. What I think happened was, and they fell victim to the fact that, hey, the Avengers exist. We need to get to the Defenders. Like we need to get that on our docket on Netflix as soon as possible, because it's going to make us a lot of money. And as we see with DC, when you focus on just trying to pile in the money, you make some shitty product. You know what I mean? And actors and actresses and directors and cinematographers, everybody falls victim to go make us money. And it's like, okay, how is that right? You know what I mean? Like,
well, you can tell when passion is not a part of the project. That's the whole thing about it. When it's more so about profit and not passion, the project will end up suffering. And that's what happened with that whole show. And it wasn't even just on the Iron Fist show. It was on the Defenders. Like his character. It was like no one else. I enjoyed the Luke Cage dab significantly more than I did Iron Fist at any point. And that's sad, because I actually like the Iron Fist comic book.
I mean, you come along and all that with Shang-Chi being here, like they're clearly showing us that Iron Fist is coming, right? Like it's all the other heavenly. I think there's 12 heavenly worlds in that world, like the 12 heavens, I think they call them. And I can't remember Shang-Chi's the world that they were in. You remember the name of it?
Oh no, I think I know what you're talking about.
The heaven that they were in, where they fought the dragon, or the dragon fought with them at the end. And then Come is one of those 12 as well. So it's clear that they're bringing that's coming, right? Like it's 100% coming.
Yeah, with the multiverses, it's going to be interesting because they got so many different ways they could recast this if they want. Like you said, they can use the Thanos snap with the blip, or they can just, I mean, going back to Loki and what we saw there, I mean, shoot, at this point, you can pick and pull and just say, oh, yeah, that's an Iron Fist from a whole nother multiverse. He doesn't exist anymore. Like, this Iron Fist, though, you guys will gravitate to him real well, you know, and it's just like, so... Well, you know, they lost me when, you know, as a music head here, they lost me with that show the moment it opened up and I heard Outkast playing. And I'm like, I love Outkast, but where does this fit as an opening scene here? I don't get this. What's going on?
That's what I'm saying. Even the music was horrible.
I'm like, wait, what?
I'm like, I forgot about that, man.
It's a total mess, and it was a lot of compensation, right? They were trying to put certain things in there to make up for what they knew was bad. I think it was clear. Like, unless the director just didn't give a fuck completely, like they were not stupid. They knew that something was wrong here, and they tried to fix it with cuts and different music or popular music or whatever the case. They didn't really fit, right? Like all of it was just kind of a thrown in mess. And Dwayne, you did mention the multiverse, so we're gonna get into the multiverse of madness real quick. But my first thing So obviously with No Way Home, we saw that the multiverse is beginning to open, right? Even with Loki, we go back to Loki and we know the multiverse was shattered when Kang the Conqueror was one of the Kang the Conquerors was killed, right? So I guess my question for the both of you and for you too, Matt, where does this multiverse stuff end, right? Like only for so long can Marvel depend on, well, we'll just say that's another universe. Or we'll just say that, if this is bad and didn't work out, uh it didn't happen on the main Earth, MCU Earth, right? So Derrick, I guess my question is like, what's the end game here, right? End game, literally and figuratively. But there's you can only depend on that for so long, right?
Yeah.
And I think, and just my quick thoughts, like I I almost wonder if they're using this to just bring in all the characters they suddenly brought together, right? They got Fox now with X-Men. They Netflix is now theirs. All the characters there. They're bringing in all these different like Nova's coming and Moon Knight and all this stuff's coming, right? They want to bring everybody together. There's my guess would be some sort of like clashing of Earths, right? Where they eliminate the multiverse and bring it all together. So are you a fan of the multiverse, knowing that what could come, what did come, obviously with No Way Home? I mean, what, or you think it's going to really hinder creativity?
No, I think it actually helps a lot because between certain characters probably needing to be recasted, um, and then also introducing mutants into the story, I think that all helps to do that. I think it was a coincidental type of thing because I don't think this is where they were headed in terms of the build, but I think this is where they were going to head in terms of the story anyway. So I think it all kind of like helped that everything fell in place the way it did. But I think the I think we'll probably you know what? No, I don't think there's an end to it because I forgot about Galactus and you still have to introduce Silver Surfer, right? Excuse me. Like everything that happened within Eternals, like there's so much that is going to take place in outer space. It's like Marvel split up into two different fields, space and Earth right now. And I think that we're going to see a lot of stuff take place outer space, a lot of stuff take place on Earth, and then the combination of the two. So I think it's actually perfect, to be completely honest. I think we'll probably see the end of all of this when all of that is being done, like done being told. And I don't know when that end will be. I actually like it because it actually helps with creativity. I think when you're talking about all these stories and infinite like possibilities of combos and characters, like I don't see an end in sight, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So I guess the reason for even questioning it, right, is I just don't want them to. We've gotten some overall great product from MCU, right? And we have these characters coming in, and at some point, Marvel's gonna slip. Like something's gonna be bad, right? It's just impossible to be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't want them to always say, "Well, if it does, we can just say X, Y, Z," right? It's multiverse now. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
In a way that so maybe it doesn't stop creativity, but it could make some shitty product, and then they think they have the fallback of that, right?
So you think it could be? You think it could be a thing where they could become lazy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's just natural. We're talking 27 movies in now. I mean, and 4 series and 4 more coming this year, and so on and so forth. Like that's a lot of continuing to try to keep everything in continuity. And maybe I think maybe to your point is what you're making is maybe they purposely keep it multiverse and don't really try to bring these guys together and just sit almost. I don't want to give DC credit, but it's kind of nice that DC is starting to separate things because they don't know how to make things
they're all
simple.
over the place. Yeah.
They're all over the place, right? And I just don't want them to fall victim of, like, No Way Home was amazing, You know, as we all know, like we got our Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, we got our Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man.
All the Sony characters that were popping up at the end of No Way Home, and we know those villains that are coming, and Morbius, and Kraven the Hunter's coming in his own movie.
Yes.
So that's cool, right? Like they get to still operate within the MCU but do their own thing, and it doesn't have to really affect the continuity. And it was great, but how does that hold up? So we were just talking about our experience with No Way Home. I just like you and just like us when we went together to watch it, like I was screaming. He was laughing at me. I was screaming. And I kind of knew, right? Like there was rumors out there that they were going to be in it, but as soon as I saw, I mean, I didn't even need to see Andrew's face. As soon as I saw Ned open up the portal and I saw hit the Garfield bug eye Spider-Man, I was like, oh shit. Like that's shit. And then he walks through and then Toby comes. I'm like, oh fuck. Like I'm just tweaking, right? And, all the cheering and freaking out. Like that was great. But what I mean is, like, how does that translate in the long term? So I watched No Way Home, you know, it just became available to rent or buy on like Amazon, like streaming. And I watched it and I didn't get hyped. Right? That initial hype will never be matched because that was something that was like a great theater experience. I don't think that movie's going to translate long term to be top 5 or top 10, right? And right now, maybe, you know, just due to the hypeness of it and when it first came out. But then I look at Avengers Endgame, right? And, you know, obviously that theater experience was insane. Cap grabbing Mjolnir, Cap saying Avengers Assemble. Where when Cap lifted the hammer, I remember this specifically. I was like, "You son of a bitch!" In the middle of the theater, right? And when Cap said Assemble, when they screamed like hype, you know, Thor screamed after he said Avengers Assemble. I'm screaming with them. And I'm telling you, I'm projecting screaming into I'm at the top of the theater. I always sit at the top. And
middle right of the projector, right?
Again, oh yeah. Well, we do like honestly, I buy the whole top row because there are so many people come with us now. But I usually try to go more towards the center. But I watch Avengers Endgame. First of all, rewatchability is a big thing for me. If I can watch that movie over and over again and never get tired of it, it's a great movie, right? But mostly those moments are still as hype for me. So that's why Endgame and even Infinity War, right? And in certain moments in Infinity War, those movies will always stick. Those moments will always make me hyped or happy, right? And I just don't know if No Way Home can do that.
I would agree with that. I think it's I still have to see No Way Home again. I've only seen it once in the theater, so I don't know.
I don't want to say disappointed, but it's not gonna be the same. It's okay because it's still a great movie.
But do you know the point where I got hyped? Seeing Matt Murdock. Because I purposely, and y'all know this, I don't watch trailers. I legit just I follow the production as it's going and you know, different news or whatever, but that's about it. I don't pay attention to trailers or anything. I don't want spoilers. So I completely forgot about the lawyer aspect of everything, you know, the legal aspect of his issues and everything. I'm just thinking of the storyline. Right. And then once I saw that brick come through and he, oh my God, man, I was the only one in the theater that really lost it. Like I heard other people like, oh my God, I lost it.
Disrespect. I honestly almost shed a tear. I was like, I wanted you back for so long. But I'll tell you this much though. I don't like how people are on the Andrew Garfield bandwagon now. Because all these years, people were talking down on him. I kept telling you he was the best Spider-Man.
I never said it was bad. I never said it was
bad. You looked me dead in the eyes and said, no.
No. Let's get perspective here, okay? Tobey Maguire was my childhood Spider-Man. Dwayne and Derrick for us, right? Yeah. And Matthew was a child when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man came out. So that's just his fighting, right? Yes. Absolutely, just like Tobey's mine. So he's not the best.
He's 100%. He's the best Spider-Man. 100%.
I mean,
Tom Holland's the best.
See, well, yeah, no,
they're just so different. All three are really so different. It's amazing. they're different and great in their own ways, right? Like Toby had, was the OG like solo Spider-Man, doesn't need anybody else to really help carry him. MJ sucked. I hate Kirsten Dunst. I really do. And Spider-Man 3 for Toby's trilogy was it doesn't exist actually. It doesn't exist. But
I just rewatched that one.
And yet they're making a 4. Is that true? Like
they're making okay. So there's a rumor out there. I'm happy you mentioned that, Dwayne. So there's a rumor. So Sam Raimi, the director for the original Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey, there's a rumor that he agreed to do Multiverse of Madness only if 2 things. 1, Tobey was allowed to be in it.
That's right.
And 2, he was allowed to make a 4th Tobey movie. Now, I wouldn't mind that if and only if it's a Logan-esque film where Tobey Spidey has aged, his powers are starting to deteriorate, something similar to that sense, right? Let Sam Raimi kind of finish his idea, whatever it was. Whether he dies or not, that can be. I don't know if you guys watched the Miles Morales animated film. Watch that. When Peter died. They could go with that, maybe like a similar kind of story. Maybe I don't know what they're gonna do, to be honest. But there's that rumor. So technically, Dwayne, I think there's gonna be another one. I know for a fact, and I can't say I know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure Andrew Garfield is in Venom's universe. The Venom 1 and Venom 2. Like he was obviously in San Francisco for most of it, right? But I think Andrew Garfield is in that universe.
I'll say this much though. I wouldn't mind if they put a different actor in that universe because Andrew needs better writing.
He does.
I'm sorry. I can't how talented of an actor he is. He deserves like some critically. I'm not expecting like the Dark Knight or a Logan-esque film. I just want him to actually read the script and say this is this is decent. Like this is above average. You know what I mean? Or like something that that actually fulfills his passion for the role. And I don't want him to be like in a universe stuck with Tom Hardy's Venom or Jared Leto's Morbius or the new Man of Web movie coming out or like the Black Cat movie, the Silver Sable movie, the Kraven the Hunter movie, the Rhino Solo movie that's in development. I don't want that for him.
I'll tell you what, Sony is hanging on to every character they have by the fucking thread. And they're like, you know what? We stuck in making Spidey, but we're gonna throw you everything else and hope you hate it or love it. But we hate it.
And the worst part too, they keep making money. They keep making money
because we all this is, and I'm sorry to say this, but this is like the New York Knicks thing. This is like you can't for some reason how it's gonna end. It's gonna be tragic, but we still support.
You know what, Derek? I think I need to seek mental help. Because
you do.
Seriously though, like it's not that I'm mentally whatever. I think honestly, it's a problem that I like bad shit. Like
I've been trying to tell you this for a couple of years,
the
bro.
next thing is whatever. I mean, since we met each other, you dog me. It is what it is. But why do I love all the X-Men movies? Why do I love the Venom? It's like Morbius. I probably know it's gonna be trash, and I'm just more hyped as I was for No Way Home for it. I just don't understand. I got issues.
I think the only way that any of those Sony like standalone films are gonna be good is if they're brought into the MCU film, like
in some way.
Right? In some way,
there's some supervision.
That is the only reason why I'm even watching this, because I'm thinking at some point we're going to see Venom in a Tom Holland Spider-Man.
That may be the case. I mean, Sony obviously can say they're now MCU canon via multiverse. It doesn't matter, and I think that was only because one, Tom Holland it's rumored but not announced yet. He's been signed on for like another 6 movies. So obviously 3 of those, another trilogy in college.
I think he's doing the animated. Yeah.
No, it's a different, right? It's a different actor, Matt.
Actually, we don't even know that yet.
Oh, okay. There's a rumor he's not voicing that because he's super young in that. Yeah, this is like when he became Spidey. So there's a rumor. Okay. I mean, he'll probably sound like Tom. But, they'll probably hire like a legitimate voice actor. You know what I mean? Because honestly, they should just bring in Mark Hamill. He can play anybody.
I mean,
it's true.
So all right. So speaking of the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
Derek, we have to talk a little bit about the trailer. All right. We don't have to make you watch it, but we have to talk a little bit about it. No, you don't watch trailers.
Yeah.
So can I tell you what happened in the trailer or no?
Something has already been ruined for me, and I'm already pissed. So
is that the fact that Professor?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't need to get too deep as to who is and isn't in it. But if Dwayne, we're gonna have you talk first about this. We know that the Illuminati is coming, right? And I have been waiting for the Illuminati to appear in the MCU since Iron Man 1, right? Because Iron Man and Doctor Strange really started the Illuminati. As far as like protectors of different realms, right? So like I think Ghost Rider's been a part of it from the like the kind of soul realm, Doctor Strange from the magical perspective, Iron Man from the realistic live perspective, Reed Richards from the scientific perspective. Like they kind of brought in different pieces, right? So what do you think? So let me ask you first, Dwayne. Who is going to be the villain of the Multiverse Madness? Because I have like 3 theories, honestly.
Yeah. You know, it's tough, man. It's tough trying to really. To me, it seems obvious that they're going a what if route. It almost seems as if Strange himself is the villain here in all these different versions. But is there still this part of you that still wants it to be Mephisto secretly? Maybe, you know, I don't know. Everybody's been waiting for him since like WandaVision. So like, I don't know when you're gonna get. Yeah, like there's no. You may get him with Ghost Rider for crying out loud. I don't know. At this point, like, you know, honestly, I'm still just hanging on to this whole that it's probably just Doctor Strange himself, like battling all these different versions of him. Heck, it could even be Kang for all we know. I mean, Kang already mentioned, like, hey man, the door's let open now. There's a bunch of me's that are way 10 times worse. It could be one of those worst versions of him. It may not be the best. I know we know he's coming for Ant-Man's next movie, but you know, like
one of them, right?
Yeah, for one of them. So I mean, they could do a quick incarnate. I don't know. You know, it's tough to call it.
So,
you know,
and it's funny you mentioned that too, because I've been on this whole like, and I haven't really researched it, but on my own thought process, kind of wondering who's in the chairs, right? There's so many options. Different multiverse Iron Man, one of the Doctor Stranges, right? Like Mordo is obviously is it Mordo?
Mordo, yeah.
Baron Mordo. He's obviously one of the Illuminati.
Black Bolt.
Black Bolt. Black Bolt was in that the Inhuman series that was absolutely
we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we're not. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So, you know,
multiverse.
Right. So we have all these different. We can have different variations of different characters. My opinion, honestly, Dwayne, it's Scarlet Witch. Like, let's not forget that at the end of WandaVision, Wanda
in prison
and Scarlet Witch were separate. Like they're Speaking of Strange's different personalities or different, like Wanda's split right now, right? You saw even in the multiverse trailer. If you, Derek, you didn't really watch it, but
I didn't watch
it. Wanda appeared to talk to her Scarlet Witch, you know, person, back in the Westview house from WandaVision. So I'm gonna put it this way: my biggest theory for Multiverse of Madness is Wanda's gonna fuck everyone up. And when I say everyone, what's probably gonna happen is she's gonna show up to the Illuminati because we see Strange is arrested, right? And she is gonna fucking obliterate them. Now we need to understand this is the same Scarlet Witch, Wanda, who was, if not for a ship blowing bombs onto the ground, was gonna kill Thanos with ease. Okay. Before she turned into the Scarlet Witch. Okay, she turned into the Scarlet Witch in WandaVision. She's going to absolutely obliterate whoever is in front of her. She wants her kids back. And I think that the goal is one, that she wants America Chavez to help her find her kids because she doesn't really know how to transport through the multiverse, right? And whoever's in her way is going to get fucked up. Like she's strong. And what I think and the way they may do this is maybe on a Jean's perspective, right? Like we know Magneto in comic lore is Wanda's dad. If Magneto from any version of Magneto pops up in this movie, I'm gonna actually shit right on the chair. Like, remember, I'm a big X-Men movies fan. So if Michael Fassbender shows up as Magneto and they fight,
do you actually you think that's possible? You think that's possible that we get that version?
Yeah, so it could be Ian.
That is Fox, isn't it?
McClellan? Ian, I think the old guy that played the X-Men or Magneto back for the X-Men. But Fassbender could pop up. We don't even know which Professor X could pop up, right? Like, so they say it's the OG one, Patrick Stewart, but it could be McAvoy.
Yeah. So my working theory is that the main antagonist is the Illuminati, because I think they perceive the MCU Strange as a threat to what they're doing. So basically, they look at Strange as saying, you're tampering with the multiverse right now, and we need to eliminate you, as well as Wanda. Because Wanda's main objective right now is I'm assuming, like John said, needs Chavez's assistance to find her children across the multiverse. So the Illuminati's first instinct is, well, we need to wipe out that threat immediately. So, and then I think in turn,
they dumb as hell. Yeah, well, Wanda's gonna fuck them.
And I think in turn, I think like in the grand scheme of things too, they're either looking to just kill those characters respectively, or actually take out the MCU universe, like wipe it from existence. I don't know if they have the ability to do that, but that's sort of my working theory right now. But I think Wanda is like the physical threat that Strange faces across the film, and then maybe you bring in like a few random like villains from different universes or whatever, just so you have like some entertaining moments in the story. But that's,
and with that, I think the Illuminati Strange runs into makes him think to build his own Illuminati, right? Like the Illuminati is going to be the MCU for good, like it needs to be. There's going to be we're seeing like the I can't like the magical realm kind of thing with the heavens and Shang-Chi and stuff like that, right? And then we're seeing all the, like Derek, you mentioned earlier, all the space stuff, right? Like Nova's coming, the Marvels is coming, like it's all going to be Secret Invasion's coming, like all these different series that are more space focused, if you want to call it. Guardians, the new Thor movie, like everything's going to be space focused. So it's just really cool to see the different realms we're going to start to explore, right? And I think the Multiverse of Madness is going to introduce a lot of those different, other characters. And to your point earlier, Derek, about the multiverse, it'll be easier to do that.
Yes.
They can say like, all right, well, Reed Richards, which I don't think it's John Krasinski that's Reed Richards in this movie. I think it's going to be one of the Reed Richards from the previous two Fantastic Four duos.
Yeah. I'm thinking,
but the thing is, bro, they're doing it because I really think Scarlet's going to kill them. Like they're going to.
That's one. Yeah.
So kill that off.
I think
it's going to be total awareness by Marvel.
I'm with that.
You're going to say this whole lineup of chairs is everything you hate about Marvel, and we're going to kill them.
Yeah.
Like,
and when it comes to like Professor X too, because when it comes to Professor X, I don't think that's the Professor X from the original X-Men series. I think that's just a variant of the one from the X-Men series. So that way, fans aren't frustrated when, because everyone loves Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Not a single person wants to see him killed off as the character, as that character. So if you say, hey, he's a variant, then you can easily recast him. I'm not sure they would, because I know he's getting much older, but they can recast him in the MCU at a later time, and people won't be as frustrated because that's not the one from the X-Men series.
Right.
That's sort of what.
True.
There'll be a lot of backlash about that. Sorry, Dwayne. You.
No. Oh no, yeah, I was just wondering about that because I was like, wait, didn't Patrick Stewart's version get killed off anyway originally?
So that's why he's saying it could be a variant.
I mean,
so like
he did
Logan for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he kind of reincarnated himself. Well, yeah, I forgot about the Logan. I
forgot about Logan too.
Yeah, I forgot about Logan's kill off. I was actually referring to the last stand.
It probably has to be a variant,
like that's where it's like that confused me too. Anyway, because I just remember at the end of that.
Done died alive. He's about to die again. Goddamn.
Oh, yeah, actually. No, but that's like I said, that's a good point. Dream. Honestly, I forgot about Logan for a second, but no, it has to be a variant, or maybe them. You know what I mean? It's really only explanation.
What about Evan Peters? Like he was Quicksilver in
That's one thing that I think they botched with WandaVision. It was kind of like a slap in the face. It was a tease. It was something intended, I think. Maybe, I mean, they can still bring them in. I don't know. So my guess is they want to start fresh, right? Like they want all new castings and everything. They may do same castings. They may wait for some kind of cataclysmic multiverse event that brings it all together. Like I don't really know. Obviously, we don't know, but theory wise, like I can't even really guess what they're going to plan to do with the X-Men. But one, I know they're calling it the mutants to start though. Like they're not, the X-Men is they're literally going to start off with, hey, these genes have been activated within these people. No X-Men even exist at this point. Like I think that's what's going to happen. Right. I know, like, and we talked about this with the WandaVision episode. Like, the X gene exists in the MCU. Like, yes, they haven't said X gene, but what the hell else got woken up within Wanda, right? That stone activated the X gene. That's obvious. Yeah. And a working theory that was going on for a while was that Iron Man's snap activated the X gene on Earth. Like, the power of the stones activates or doesn't activate the X gene, right? So maybe that's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Or they're just bringing it via multiverse. But I feel like it's so hard. What do you just open a portal and say, "Oh, they're here now"? Like, it'd be tough.
That's the reason why, like, I think that for Fantastic Four, it makes sense for them to be in that quantum I forgot the name of the place. That place where
Quantum Realm.
Yes, where Ant-Man had to go to get Wasp's mom, all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. That I think it makes sense for them to be in there, for them to have traveled with her to go, in there and all that stuff and come back.
That's a good point to bring up too, because like we reached the point. So I feel like the MCU is just established like multiple gateways into the multiverse, and then it begs the question too, like, I don't know, like that's difficult for storytelling because you have to find an excuse for like why, like, wait a minute. So he's like, I can't open a portal. We have to, literally have like a teleporter into the realm that could theoretically, they're not confirmed yet because we don't know, like we know, like, I'm assuming civilizations live in there. Peyton and Reed even confirmed that. There's like a shot in Ant-Man and the Wasp, like in the quantum realm, where you see like a city in the background. People kept theorizing it was where Kang is originally, like the original Kang is from.
Yeah,
we won't know until. I mean, I think that will like. I had a chance of playing a role in the third Ant-Man movie, but yeah. So it kind of, so you kind of have to like find excuses for why characters aren't thinking up, like, oh, we can use the quantum realm as opposed to like a, Doctor Strange opening up a portal and then.
So that's my thing too. And Derek, this is exactly the point I was trying to make earlier. Is like, it can get sloppy. Now, do I trust Marvel to not let it get there? Of course, like they've proven to us they can make it happen. But you can make it to the point. Like, my biggest thing with Marvel, my biggest gripe, and I don't think Matt really agrees. You guys can give your opinions on it. There's so many characters now. It's getting stupid that none of these characters just appear to help. Right?
Yep.
Like, it's not that I need them to show up. I don't need it to make the movie great, right? But it's just odd that when a giant fucking Galactus sized celestial is coming out of the sea, that Falcon wouldn't pull up, or War Machine wouldn't pull up, or Nick Fury on the sword ship wouldn't say, "Hey, we have all these." Like, Secret Invasion is going to show us how technologically advanced they are. You didn't see this giant fucking hand coming out of the ocean? Like,
still there too. You're right, because it's still there. That's the sad part. Like, it's still there.
Sword was in WandaVision, so like that. It's so simple, right? It's simple. This is a gripe, and it frustrates me beyond belief. And it's probably so minuscule it doesn't really matter, but. Just like they had Sword pop up with a couple of cars, and like Coulson used to do with Thor in the Thor movie, right? When they pulled up, we're like, all right, there's some weird shit going on here. And give us that. Give us a bunch of agents that pull up and say, okay, what's going on here? Or teleportation of Nick Fury that says, what the fuck is it? Like, whatever. I don't know.
That's why I think they should go like the Invincible direction too. You know what I mean? Well, that's why I think like the Invincible. Sorry, this is my shameless plug. Watch Invincible, read it. Basically, like. In the show, you have like Cecil Sedman is a character, and he could teleport on location to wherever a hero is. But they established to where like heroes are in contact with one another. You know what I mean? Like there isn't like a situation like there's plenty of instances in the comics where like the entire cities are being destroyed, and you have countless heroes coming in, to assist. Like they're all, even though they may have their differences in ideologies and they obviously have differences in powers, so some may be more like efficient than others, but they still have that like interactive elements to them. Like they're not just going to allow innocent people to die. Right. And that's that's what John's saying is like it's like I remember like a buddy Grant, like he even said it's not it's not the biggest deal in the world. Like Nick Fury's in space. I don't care if Nick Fury's in space. Like if I see a celestial coming out of the ocean and I'm a SHIELD agent, I'm sending people. I'm like contacting Captain Marvel or or the Hulk. You know what I mean? Like some type of like. I mean, the Hulk can't do much of anything. I'll probably crush him, but there's some like hero.
Shit, Hulk jumped in Sotor and he's like big monster. And Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. Well, in theory, now this is a Celestial we're talking about. I mean, let's also remember this thing comes out, everybody's just destroyed, but that is more of a reason for everybody to be there because it's like. You mean it? But see that the whole concept, because when I finally got around to watching Eternals, just what you guys said about that was sitting there making me say, wait, so you mean to tell me y'all have been there through this entire civilization of time? So you're telling me we've seen Iron Man, Avengers, Endgame, all of these things happen. They've been here the whole time and they cannot interfere for any reason. So if they can't interfere, then you're telling me, meanwhile, the rest of these guys and girls that have been defending the earth all this time, see this gigantic thing slowly coming out of the ocean, very noticeable. And then, like you said, even show the main celestials, like literally right there in the sky, and like regular civilization like sees him like
deep scans. Your deep scans can find Thanos. Fucking laying down implants on the planet. You can't see a fucking. You can't see a giant ass fucking face.
Right there. Maybe right it's there? Them just being petty because they didn't help us. I'm not helping you.
You know what it is? And I saw this on Twitter. Someone was funny as hell. They were like, they're just fucking tired. Yeah. They just finished fighting a whole ass army of Thanos people. Right? Yeah. They just lost Iron Man. And they're like, they hit him up. They're like, yo, there's a fucking massive alien coming out of our planet. Can you help? What the fuck? I got wings and vibranium. What the fuck you want from me?
We die. We die.
I saw the funniest video. It was like,
got to see it through, my boy.
Literally. Like, I saw the funniest video. It was like, it showed like the Celestial coming in from Eternals, and it said like the people like at the bottom of the earth looking up. all you saw was just like darkness. Like he was there looking up like this. Like,
man.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, there's all like I think one thing we also have to remember is that there's times where all these things are happening at the same time or around the same time. Right. So it's possible that the reason why we're not seeing them in some of these movies is because they're off doing something else.
So it's quite possible, right? And I will say that with one other thing that pissed me off in No Way Home. Mm-hmm. The end of No Way Home, we saw Spidey swinging through Rockefeller Center with the tree, right? Christmas time, and confirmed during the same time as Hawkeye. So, do you guys remember what window he jumped out of? An apartment right next to the tree. Okay, so why the fuck would Spidey not help Hawkeye?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. At the end of No Way Home, when he has his new suit, he jumps out of an apartment. Literally, the building is looking at Rockefeller Center, where Hawkeye was fighting all those guys in the gang with Kate Bishop. Remember, they were shooting the arrows like they were on the ice, and then there was the tree. Yeah, and they were shooting the arrows at all the bad guys.
So he jumped out the window. Is this that like the last scene you talking about, or are you talking about?
He jumped out of an apartment window. Remember when Peter goes to an apartment, he has a box in his hands?
That's right.
Yeah,
that apartment is literally in Rockefeller Center.
Yeah.
So why the fuck? So you tell me Peter looked out the window and was like,
no, this man saw a gang war happening. He was like, yeah.
So what's the explanation? He wasn't in the middle of fighting.
He's seen bigger. They got it.
Yeah.
There's
his aunt just died. You know what I'm saying? Like,
here's a thought. I only have one way to explain that one. This is the only thing I can explain here. At this point, Peter is completely forgotten by everybody, literally. So if Hawkeye even knows who he is, he wouldn't know, because now anybody that does know him basically isn't supposed to remember him, even though they didn't mention Nick Fury and if he remembers him or not, since he's in space. How far back does that spell even go? Can it reach someone in space? Well, I don't know.
Nick Fury was also, I don't think he's actually ever met Peter technically. I mean, you can argue during the funeral for Tony Stark in Endgame, but that Nick Fury in Far From Home was a Skrull. That wasn't actually Nick ever. So, and it's funny, remember, because in the beginning of No Way Home, they're like, Peter's like, well, talk to Nick Fury, like he knows that this guy was bad or whatever, and he's like, Nick Fury's been off world for a year. He's like, what? Skrull.
Yeah, that's right. You know,
technically, he never really knew who he was. And with that, it's Dwayne, I'm glad you mentioned that too. Remember, the Sokovia Accords were signed, right? So every superhero needs to identify with the government who they are. How does that affect Peter now? Like, he's going to start to be hunted and shit. Is that where Kraven the Hunter comes in? I don't know. If they decide to combine it, then that might be the plan. Maybe Sony's not too bad. I'm just saying.
I think John probably
just blew my mind right there, man.
Yeah. John probably put more thought in these past 5 minutes that Sony has in the past 10 years.
Yeah,
so,
I solved all those 3 issues in these 30 seconds.
You literally just gave them the next Spider-Man.
I mean, give me the Fox issues next then, because when the X-Men finally get revealed, we gotta explain all of what they're doing.
That's gonna be a mess.
Because that's a lot.
The X-Men. What's the most recent one that came out with the aliens, the shape-shifting aliens?
Oh, Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix, which they had to go ahead and repeat the Phoenix movie for some reason because they're fucking stupid.
They're gonna have to when MCU gets their hands on the Phoenix Force alone.
Did you guys?
That's a whole different.
That movie was supposed to be Skrulls and not those random alien shapeshifters, but Marvel MCU found out that because they knew they were going to buy X-Men soon. Like, we didn't know. Like, it was this has been in talks for years, probably before we even knew. Marvel, Kevin Feige, whoever stepped in and said, you better not. Like, Skrulls are our thing. Like, Captain Marvel's has Skrulls. We're going to do a series. So they had to change at the last minute what the alien was that shapeshifted.
Oh, so
that's why it's so awkward. You guys noticed? Like, watch the cinematography perspective. It's Derek, I know you usually do when you watch stuff. But if you guys watched it or plan to watch it again, probably not. But if you do, you will notice like how like awkward it is that those characters are there now. Like, it's so weird. Like, now that
I was wondering what was going on with that. That makes a lot more sense.
Something felt weird,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Like it just it was too random almost. Like Skrulls would have made more sense.
Okay.
All I remember is this. I wanted to watch Rocket Man with Taron Egerton. And you dragged me to see Dark Phoenix at that. I still won't forgive you for that. I said, is there a way we can watch, Rocket Man? Because I said I'm not looking forward to this movie. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm appreciative that you're buying my movie ticket. I love you.
He literally said, he said that too. He's like, bro, he goes, I can't lie, I don't want to go, but I'm appreciative of the ticket. And like, he was giving me all these excuses, like, why the fuck?
And he was like,
listen, I loved it. I love Dark Phoenix, man.
All right.
I did.
Bro.
I love Magneto. Magneto's fight scene was the only good thing about that movie, I'll admit. But he's God,
the scene
I don't
where
know what you liked about that mess, man.
Everything. I don't know why.
The scene where Cyclops. You remember the scene where like Cyclops like walked up awkwardly to what was it, Magneto? He was like, "You better not fucking touch her!" Like, and then out of nowhere, he was like, "Like, what, bro? What are you like? You down bad? You know, terrible."
Like,
Please make me care about Cyclops when they bring X-Men to the MCU.
Yeah, I know.
Because I swear, Fox made him so irrelevant to me. I was just like, why do I like Cyclops again? Please,
I was wondering the
please
same
remind
thing.
me.
But my biggest thing about X-Men is I need them to get Wolverine correct.
Yep.
That's they
Canadian
have to.
shorts, like they gotta do the full.
They have to.
Like if you guys watch the animated Marvel, like he was like a Canadian operative for years before he even touched the X-Men.
Ferocious,
you know what I mean?
Man.
And they started to show some of like his military past in certain movies and stuff like that. But let's get all of it. Let's if you want to start this fresh, you start off with origin story movies for each main X-Men and go from there instead of doing the opposite.
Or series,
like
series.
Disney Plus. I mean, they have a lot of options, obviously.
Yeah.
But enough talking about things we don't like. Let's get into this. We talked about a little earlier before we started this young episode here. I wanted to get you guys' perspective on your top 5 MCU canon movies, starting from 5 and going up. Now I'm going to make this first entry, and I'll give you guys my top 5. Number 5, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Okay. Underrated as hell.
Yeah.
A lot of people say it's overrated, but it's a true espionage if you're a fan. So I think the big thing with people that they say they don't like it, they're not fans of spy espionage type movies. I am, right? And I think they did that perfectly in the choreography, the fighting, everything was perfect in that. Number 4, Black Panther, speaks for itself. Wakanda forever, all day, baby. One, and this is one of my how I was talking about No Way Home may not translate long term. This is a movie that, because of the projects that have come out and because of the longevity of it, it gets better and better and better and better, right? Age of Ultron. How it connects to all the he's not a fan of Ultron. But listen, Age of Ultron is aging very well, no pun intended. Seriously, because of the WandaVision stuff, because of what they introduced, who they introduced, how it led a little bit to the Civil War issues. Like you start, it just ages so well, man.
It does.
I can watch that over and over again. It was always rewatchable as far as like the action and some of the stuff they had. But even like Hulk's arc and leaving to go to eventually be in Ragnarok. I mean, everything in there had a purpose. And God, it's so underrated, man. So underrated.
It is.
Now these two, and I think these two are going to be in the top of our list, all of us probably, right? And I think they're going to be flipped depending on which. But number 2 is Endgame. And I know people might disagree because Endgame is amazing, and I will never say it isn't. And maybe if I just watched Endgame an hour ago, I would say Endgame is 1. But Infinity War is 1. Because you can't have Endgame without Infinity War to start, right? That's just the obvious, right? And for whether you like it or not, Infinity War was Thanos' origin story. Like Thanos he told us why he's doing what he's doing, which I think there's another theory as to why he did what he did. But the moments that they had throughout it, the Guardians of the Galaxy interacting with Thor, I mean, the fight scene, the battles, the war, and all of it combined. I mean, Infinity War by a hair is my number 1. So, Matt, give your shitty ass list.
My list is phenomenal. Okay, I don't have Age of Ultron. No, you have Age of Ultron in your top 3. Oh, yeah, you have 3 Avengers movies in your top 3, and you have.
I see why he's got Age of Ultron. Though. I get now, I can it's still trash, but I can see it.
Yeah, trash. Yeah, you think it's trash?
So,
Derek, are you into this?
I love Age of Ultron.
My thing is this, and I this is a principle I have to apply for everything, for everything, and that's just because X movies came out after to quote unquote improve something else does not affect the quality of the movie in and of itself. The movie as it stands, it's the same principle I add to the prequel trilogy, right? It's garbage, terrible writing, terrible acting, terrible looking visual effects, even though, you know what I mean, the prequel trilogy.
For
what?
Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah, like
okay,
and all that.
I got you.
Clone Wars came out and enhanced everything. It enhanced like the final battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin. But just because Clone Wars came out doesn't make Revenge of the Sith a good movie all of a sudden. You have to look at it subjectively within that regard. That's why for Ultron, you can't just because it's setting up Ragnarok doesn't make it a good movie. It proves that they're having way too many storylines and they're looking to set up the future instead of focusing on let's make a compelling narrative. And then if you want to have an end credit scene that alludes to what happens in the future, that's fine. Every movie, like superhero movie wants to have like a friend, like what companies are setting out to make profit. They want franchises. They want to have actors the same characters for long periods of time because they're popular and whatnot. So that's how I view it as. It's like I can't say that X movie that came out after, like Ultron is somehow a better movie because it set up everything. Every movie sets up something. Every Marvel movie has set up something since the beginning. So, but again, if that's how you like, if that's your criteria, that's perfectly fine. It's just that's something that's that's the principle I hold for everything.
No, I view it the same way in terms of movies standing alone and being able to judge it based off the movie itself. But because of that, that's why I like Age of Ultron.
Oh, then that's 100. Like I said, that's 100% valid because at the end of the day, it's your opinion. I can't say that you're wrong. Like if that's how you rate them, like if that makes a movie good or bad to you, that's great. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna judge you on that.
I appreciate that.
Because apparently people nowadays can't handle an opinion.
Seriously, listen, it's a judgment-free zone here, people. So if you're watching and listening, that's the point. Like, these are our opinions.
And obviously, John. And I know John jokes around. Like he's saying Melissa's garbage. He's probably joking, probably not. But that's his opinion. But so from starting at number 5, Thor.
Look at this
first.
Look at this shit.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a little intake on that one.
I thought he was trolling.
Yeah, why?
So my thing is this. I think I'm trying to find it to describe it. Like I hated Thor, the original growing up. You can ask John. I hated it. Okay. I found it boring. I hated the Dutch angles they use in the movie because I hate Dutch angles in general. Because I feel like I had to twist my head just to like have it be straightened out. But what I love about the film itself is just the character growth. Like Thor has a clear beginning, middle, and end to his character. He starts off as this arrogant king who doesn't really understand his responsibilities and what it takes to be the ruler of his people. You have Loki, who has been lied to his entire life and becomes this very jealous and anger-ridden, younger child who feels neglected by his father, right? And then with that too, even the comedy in the film, like there's a lot I could sort of digest, but like even the comedy in the film, and I'm not a huge fan of how Marvel does comedy, but it works perfectly because Thor is so ignorant in human behavior.
Yeah.
Right. Because you look at the coffee scene, he smashes a cup on the ground and said, "Thank you. I want another." It's like, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. You understand? And it's like him being able to sort of adapt to a new environment. And that's literally what allowed him, to return to Asgard and, to defeat his brother. But Loki, Tom Hiddleston in that movie as well gave one of the best performances in the MCU. Like Loki in that movie is a top 5 character to me. And they ruined him in Avengers because the Loki that we see in Thor is not the one in Avengers. He like the Loki in Thor would not commit genocide on the human race. And they changed them again in What If because we know ultimately that like that's you know what I mean. I know there's like theories coming around that the Mind Stone influenced him. There's no confirmation of that. If they said in the movie that the Mind Stone has an effect on its user, that's different. And then you can argue if that's good or bad, but they didn't. So Loki just did this out of nothing. You know what I mean? Like there are no like allusions to him. Like I you know what I mean? Like he just wanted the rule over Asgard. we don't know the extent as to what he wanted to do, and Avengers like took that away. What could have been another like interesting character arc is what does he do now, assuming that what would he do if he became the king of Asgard, right? Does that mean does he want to take over? Why does he want to take over? Does he, you know what I mean? And there are elements of Loki I really like in the movie. It's just the fact that he commits genocide. If he was just looking to rule over as like Earth and, like sort of minimize conflict, because even Loki and Thor too, like it's kind of hard to explain, but like he didn't kill his father. He did try to kill Thor at one point, but that so many instances of that has happened in like other superhero movies in the past, where like you have like the younger brother who's like so jealous and like in the heat of the moment makes an irrational decision. That's not to justify his actions, but you sympathize with him because at the end of the day, he just wants to be as recognized and as accomplished as his older brother. So that's what makes Thor a top 5 movie, like a top 5 MCU movie for me. It's just that criteria alone. And the movie has some of the best visual effects too, easily. It's the most beautiful Marvel movie ever. Like in turn, visually speaking.
Wow.
So
I've never heard anybody talk about Thor like that.
Yeah.
Terry's like, what the fuck?
Like I said, like
who's got next?
Number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Nothing more I can say. I mean, that movie is sort of hard to explain. It's just an entertaining throw ride, but has like the emotional beats you expect from a James Gunn film. And that's the most I can say. I think very nice visual effects. Some of the comedy can be a bit like childish at times, but again, it's just ultimately like how Gunn achieved that balance between comedy and drama in the first Guardians of the Galaxy compared to the second. The second one I know isn't as well liked, but there are elements of that movie I like as well. So that's I respect them on that. 3 has to be Civil War. In the sense of it's just I love the duality between Tony and Steve. You always had the introduction to Peter Parker. But it was really like those like smaller human moments I enjoyed more than like the huge climactic sequences. Because you definitely see 2 men with different ideologies who are both correct in what they stand for. The difference is like what methods are they willing to employ to make sure that the people of the world are safe, but that they can still act on their own accord, no pun intended, because the Sokovia Accord and whatnot. Like, does that mean being restricted by the government, or does it mean having the free will to, go to X, to go to X state, X country or whatever, just to help people in need? So that's sort of my perspective. And I'm sure based on what I say, you can know like which character, like which side of the spectrum those characters leaned on. Two is Winter Soldier. That's it. Like it's Winter Soldier. It has to be number 2 for obvious reasons. And then number 1 is Captain Marvel. And now I'm talking around.
Wow.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Wait a minute. Talk about a hot take, man. Sheesh.
Oh my God.
I know it's no judgment zone, but God.
All of us were like, oh shit, I gotta go.
Man.
Okay.
Number 1 has to be Infinity War. It is without a doubt the greatest MCU accomplishment ever. I think having Thanos be the main protagonist and for the heroes to be his antagonist was a brilliant decision. Josh Brolin's performance was phenomenal as the titular Titan. And what I enjoyed most is how you truly understood his motivations, because he was given he was actually given the most screen time. I think he was given 40 minutes of screen time. And he could have very easily been this cliched villain who wanted to kill all of humanity, but he had a reasoning to do, like, to eliminate half of all human life, all sentient life, etc. And it's just in the ending especially. Ending is fun. I have never heard an ending that made an audience stay quiet.
Yeah.
Like just the pure silence and seeing Thanos feel so satisfied with what he did is impeccable on every level. So yeah, It's just like, and even the hype. You didn't remember the hype from Infinity War too. I mean, that's part one of the end of a generation, essentially. That's close to a generation, basically. Right. Yeah, so that's, like I said, not enough good things I can say about Infinity War. I realize it's not the best cinematography wise. I realize it may use comedy inconsistently and all that, but Thanos alone is what makes that movie like truly beautiful. And yeah, so those are my top five. I should rip this shit
out. Dwayne, what you got for your top five, brother? Starting from number 5.
I think we should let Derrick go first on this one, man. I want to hear Derrick's perspective.
Derrick, go ahead.
I'm getting a little more time on this one, making sure.
Derrick, what you got for me?
Oh my God. This is really difficult, man. I think 5. I'm going to do Winter Soldier.
Okay.
5, I'm going to do Winter Soldier. 4, Civil War.
Okay.
Civil War. 3, I'll say Infinity War.
Infinity War, okay. Nice.
I think, oh my God. 2, I'm gonna say easy. This is not hard. This is not easy at all. Because I'm thinking about the order of it and
right.
Trying not to judge myself on it.
I'll judge you. Don't worry about that.
Oh, thank you. I said Infinity War, right?
For number 3.
Yep.
Let me put Endgame at 3, Infinity War at 2.
Okay. And so Endgame at 3, Infinity War at 2.
And then
it's tough. It's tough.
This is difficult, man. Okay. Winter Soldier 5. Civil War at 4. Yep. Black Panther at 3.
Okay.
What did I say? Endgame at 2.
Infinity War at 2.
You want Endgame at 2? Okay, Endgame at 2 and Infinity War at 1. So you pretty much have. Yeah, actually, well, I mean, you and John's are pretty similar.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, so what makes these films like stand out compared to the rest of them? What makes them, hit your top five?
I guess for me, I mean, since we have 3 of the others kind of in there, what do you see? And obviously, I agree. I could put Black Panther above Ultron personally, but what do you see Black Panther and Civil War as 3 and 4? I love Black Panther. So Killmonger's just amazing.
Yeah, bro. He has to be at least top 3 in villains for MCU films.
Yeah, you made that argument.
He has to be, and I don't care what order you put him in, but he has to be in the top 3. His storyline, I think, is just like what you were talking about with Thanos. It was justifiable as to what what his goal was. It's what like the
his methods were immoral, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like I know exactly what you mean. Like the essence of what he stands for is inherently, it should be inherently good, but it's overshadowed by what he like chooses to do. I know exactly
the way he decided to go about it, and that's the only reason. Like, I can see exactly what he was talking about. I'm gonna be completely honest. Over the last 3 to 4 years, I thought Thor had I understand completely why Thor said what he said. In terms of like wanting to wipe out half of humanity, I can understand it.
Yeah.
It's not the right thing to say, but it's like, okay, the greed and selfishness of some people. It's like, okay, what would the world look like without that? So I can understand the thought process, but the methods are just very questionable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's why between him and Black Panther, we saw Black Panther come in as Civil War, but um being able to see his own film and how Wakanda looked and like everything just vibranium, like everything just made sense, right? So that's why I have that at 3. Um Also the cultural impact of the film, that that just, I mean, we call Atlanta Wakanda now, which I don't, but a lot of people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just a culturally amazing what the impact was for it. But Civil War, like you said, introducing Spider-Man into the fold, we like, again, I didn't pay attention to the trailers, so when I saw him actually show up on screen, I absolutely lost it. Um, and I thought, and honestly, don't care what anyone says, that is the best Spider-Man costume. Like anyone that Tom Holland has worn has been, it's the best because of the fact that the emotion that you see in cartoons with, you know, his eyes and, you know, change shifting and everything like that, we can actually see that, right? Like you were never seeing that with the past Spider-Mans, right? And I never thought that was even something that we could see.
I'm gonna slightly disagree though. Andrew Garfield, where you didn't see it in the costume, it was able to show emotion pretty well.
For sure.
Like,
no, I'm just saying in terms of
goggles. Oh yeah,
yeah.
So, but I would say out of all the Spider-Man though, I think Garfield was able to portray emotion through his costume better than anybody else.
His body language is phenomenal. I completely agree.
Yeah, you like that.
I was gonna say, like, so you said he was the best one to show emotion, right?
No. But
right.
The best embodiment of Spider-Man and Peter Parker is Tom Holland. Don't care.
Oh, okay. All right.
That is the best embodiment. But well, I didn't like Pretty Boy Peter Parker. That's and then old man Peter Parker just mm-mm.
Oh, you're talking about the
Toby was like almost 30 years old by the time he did Spider-Man, right? Like he was like 25. Like it's just, I can't believe he was a high school kid, man. So I mean, he had a 5 o'clock shadow. I don't buy it.
He's a youth pastor, right?
Yes.
That's what he is. He's a youth pastor.
But so Tom Holland being introduced into that film, and the way that they were able to balance every character and not make it seem overpowering, and everybody got great screen time. Civil War is just, it's phenomenal. And to be completely honest, my whole top 5, it could be placed in any order. I'm really, you know what's really threw me off? I thought we were talking about MCU projects like in totality. I was going to throw Daredevil in this.
Daredevil. Here's the thing.
Daredevil would have been number 1 for me.
Daredevil is here.
Yeah.
And then this is like the rest of the Marvel content. That's not even a question.
Yes.
If you don't think Daredevil is close to a masterpiece or remotely good, you do not watch any Marvel content.
Like, it is a complete masterpiece. Like I said earlier, the choreography, the fight choreography, right? You feel it. But that one scene where they did the fight in that hallway.
Season 1?
Not one cut. The camera followed all the way down the hallway, and you see everything go down the stairs.
Yes.
I'm like,
that is my favorite.
That's by far. Best cinematography we have ever seen in MCU.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're talking about.
You even had the phenomenal one in because I think what works so, and this is why I love talking to you guys so much. But like what I love about that too is like all the one takes had different circumstances. Yes. So the reason why in season 1 you had that stillness is because Daredevil was tuning into surroundings.
Yes.
For the season 2 and season 3 takes, the camera is like moving, like constantly shifting around, so you can see, like, you know what I mean? Because like there's a hecticness in the situation. But for Daredevil, you like every like, and what I love too is that like Daredevil isn't as violent. There are like violent moments, but like Daredevil is a kind of show you could put on Disney Plus if you like omit a few scenes here and there, because most of the violence is done off camera. Like there's implications of what Daredevil does to these people. You know what I mean? I mean, there are like a few, like there's a torture scene in like episode 2, for instance.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to find the location of the kid, and all that. But sorry. Anyways, that's
No, I completely agree with you. Yeah, and the Punisher could be put up there too. Like, it's so that's why I'm so all over the place, because like I'm just thinking of those 2 projects alone. Those can be in the top 5 to me.
Yeah, Luke Cage.
If they're not in your top 3, see, Luke Cage was phenomenal. I think where they lost me is
the second half of season 1,
beginning of season,
beginning of season 2. Really, that was your sort of like.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
I love the villain, right? I'm Jamaican, so seeing him in there, it was like beautiful. Like come on. I want more of that.
It's me birthright, you know. Harlem's me birthright, you know. Don't like a bourgeois, come on.
All I needed to see was some curry goat, and I'm good. But they did a phenomenal job with all the villains in Luke Cage. I thought where they really kind of messed up was putting that dab in there. And I know that's very small and it doesn't make much sense, but that dab was garbage. It made Luke Cage seem cartoonish, which made no sense.
You said he put
Luke Cage's dad.
He actually did the dab. Like you said, like beginning. I don't even want to do it. Like it's just disgusting.
Oh, the dab.
Dab. I know you're talking about his dad.
No, my bad.
Oh yeah, gotcha. No, you're good.
With him doing the dab, like it was just.
Oh, it's season 2 where
you're
like.
Oh, yes, that was such a. I hated that, and that was the beginning of season 2, the first episode. So it just kind of like threw a couple of things off for me with it. But Luke Cage is up there too. But because of that, I had to put it lower than top 5.
Yeah, for me, like 100%. And what made me not like Luke Cage was the second half of season 1 when they killed off Cottonmouth and they brought in the infinitely less interesting what was it, his
brother
was it a stepbrother or I know it was like stepbrother or like full. No, I didn't believe it.
No, it was half brother. Yeah, like
half
he was half brother. It was I forgot about that.
But season 2, like Bushmaster, I love the actor was so good.
Bushmaster,
like whenever he's saying like Stokes, like Mariah Stokes, like he was like graffitiing her name. And the ending, I'll put it this way, and I'm not sure you probably disagree with me, Derek. Season 2 Luke Cage is better than season 2 of Daredevil.
Ooh, spicy! I like it.
Not.
Luke Cage, I gotta watch those again. I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
I don't want to disagree with you based off bias.
You have to rewatch. That's fair.
I didn't rewatch it in order to have a.
I do remember season 2 of Luke Cage better than I remember season 2 of
Daredevil was just, like cinematically, like it was just Daredevil's 1 through like those seasons. Every season was just cinematically perfect, and not just that, but the fight choreography. That's why I don't even know. Like Bushmaster's fight choreography was phenomenal too. So don't get me wrong, phenomenal.
His introduction scene,
absolutely phenomenal. So it might be right there. That's why I don't want to say no, because it might be right there. I just don't want to say it's better. You see what I'm saying? I got
100%. Yeah, it's like even season 3 of Daredevil though, like the final confrontation between King, all like his like Charlie's scream of rage.
Yes.
Oh my, like
felt that. You felt that.
You can't look at that show and say that's not good.
If you're not watching that and thinking that it's one of the best Marvel projects, you're not paying attention to what you're watching.
Yeah,
I'll just leave it at that.
100%.
It is easily the best project Marvel has put out.
Yep.
Dwayne, you can't be held out too long, brother. Come on, give me your top 5, baby. Starting with that 5.
All right, so I've been kind of thinking about this after listening to y'all. I like the diversity in these. You know, this is really cool. So I'm just gonna add to the diversity to myself. And it's really, I like being different. So it's kind of cool hearing this, but I still have some similarities to where you guys probably when it gets down to like the top 3. But my bottom 2, if you want to even call it that when it comes top 5, they're in my list for different reasons, both personal and just looking back. At number 5, I have the Incredible Hulk. I have the Incredible Hulk because I feel like it's very slept on. Now, I am a Hulk fan in general.
Okay.
And until there's another MCU standalone Hulk movie at some point, which I'm sure will probably happen once She-Hulk comes, who I'm also excited about because I'm a big She-Hulk fan. So as we see Mark in She-Hulk and we see, you know, Bruce Banner and all that good stuff, who apparently is back into his Bruce form, as we see how that plays out, it's going to be interesting to see what leads to an eventual, at some point, standalone Hulk movie with Mark Ruffalo's Incredible Hulk. But
yeah,
that version of the Hulk, man, is still my favorite version of the Hulk. And I still just love that fight scene with him and Abomination. I love the fact that, because the first Hulk to me just felt way, that wasn't even MCU anyway, but I just remember being super excited for a Hulk movie because I love the Hulk. And I'm like, yo, this is going to be on screen. It's going to be cool. And I just didn't like how long it took them to get to seeing like all this Bruce Banner dialogue, which was, you know, as a kid to see it, you're like, where's the Hulk? I want to see the Hulk. And they kept teasing you and you'd be like, Hulk's coming. And then he finally comes and you see like this big oversized green thing. And you're like, okay, that's just a little too, you know, even now when you look back, you're just like, nah, man, that wasn't it. But like when they come to 2008 and you see the Incredible Hulk, I saw the major difference in that they took their time with that one. And I know when you try to compare this Hulk to like Avengers version of Hulk, and you look at it now and you see the two, it's kind of like what Matt said, like Avengers Hulk ruined it for me though, because like he started off as the Hulk, I remember, from Incredible Hulk, but they then went way left with him. And I get it. And you can have your own reasons on it. Savage Hulk has a place for me, and Incredible Hulk is the only one that's done it right so far. But I will say, and I mean, you know, the first Avengers Hulk, maybe even Age of Ultron Hulk, you can even say, heck, maybe even Ragnarok's Hulk, you can say. Anything beyond Ragnarok to me is kind of like, okay, let me see where they're going with this, because I know they're trying to evolve Hulk. You know, Bruce Banner and Hulk are like together, this and that, so I get it. Like, they finally come to their peace, and like, you know, like he civilized Hulk, you know. I thought they were going to go to Planet Hulk route for a while with Ragnarok. It looked like they were teasing that even. You know, I'm thinking, okay, Planet Hulk. I'm hyped for that. Let's go. World Breaker Hulk. A Hulk I'm waiting for. I need it. I want it. You know what I'm saying? I just need my Hulk to be Hulk again. And right now, until I see that Hulk, Incredible Hulk is still like, that's subject to change. But also another reason why it's at that bottom 5 for me like that is because of the fact it was a perfect balance of Bruce Banner and Hulk, because you got your Bruce Banner moments, you got your Hulk moments, but also it's there for me because
I think we lost him.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we lost him. He's been having issues with connection for the last.
What happened?
Years. There we go. You good?
There we go.
You're
that was strange. Sorry, that wasn't my usual. Yeah, that wasn't my usual. That was strange because I could hear you guys, but it was like I I just happen to notice whoa.
It's funny because we try to talk like ventriloquists when
we're back. Sorry, people. Sorry, but as I was saying before, my internet connection tried to ruin that for me, guys. Transition of why I like this Hulk goes into my fourth one, which would be Iron Man, because the original Iron Man. You know, because these two pioneered everything else that we have right now. If not for these two projects, who really knows where the MCU could be right now? You know what I'm saying? These two were kind of like the building blocks that led to all of these dope movies that we have. And so I feel like to you have to in some form always find a way to put the change, because there's so many, like Derrick and you guys have said with your top, it's hard, especially when you're talking about like projects as a whole. That's a whole different list and it's tough. But I had to really sit here and defend these two as much as I can, because of the fact that, again, like looking back at them, for that to be 2008, thinking about the time frame, thinking about what 2008 was, what it was for that time, and to know like Iron Man was another one. Nobody was talking about Iron Man before Iron Man. I was an Iron Man fan. I was watching him since the 90s animated cartoons. And I was like, when's this guy going to get a film? I wonder. Like, when am I going to see that? And when it came, I'm like, yo, Iron Man's getting a film? Sweet. Let's go. See this film? And I'm like, yo, that's what I'm talking about. This is dope. You know, I was like, well, shoot. And the rest was just basically history at that point, because, you know, he ended up being one of the faces. He set up Captain America. You slowly get the Avengers, and it just led up to his initial, you know, exit, if you will, you know, with Endgame. But I mean, still, man, Iron Man, again, it just still sits well with me. Like, it still ages pretty well looking back at it on that first one. The second one's the best one out of the three. You know, to me, I mean, I don't know, sometimes when you see the first, it's just like, I don't like the villain in the first one. I would probably say that. I probably wasn't feeling the villain in the first one, but just the build of Iron Man in that first one still makes that one still one of my favorites. Going to number 3, this is where I kind of come more into modernized, and I'm going to say Civil War at number 3 for me. Because I love the way characters are. Yeah, it like Civil War hit me so differently because of the fact that it was like, I remember just being amped for this because I like the Civil War storyline in general. I remember playing that through the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, and they had that storyline. So like the Civil War aspect is really cool, and I couldn't wait to see that on screen. And the fact that it introduced us to Black Panther, it introduced us solidified it for me is what Derrick's point was about overall Spider-Man. Like, as much as I went into that loving Tobey, and I still love Tobey, but when I first saw Civil War, saw Tom Holland's version, I was like, yeah, that's Spider-Man right there. Yeah, that's Spider-Man. That
accurate Spider-Man.
Thank you, and thank you for mentioning Black Panther's introduction, because I thought I think he was probably given like not even 15 minutes of screen time, and seeing his sort of arc come full circle with not enacting revenge on a person responsible for killing his father. Just
exactly like that came before even him having a movie, which was like to see that little bit of time. And talking about a movie that had everybody, like even Ant-Man, you know, to see Ant-Man in this and just to see everybody, like Cap's like, oh, I'm gonna gather the people on my side. Well, Iron Man's like, okay, well, I'll gather the people on my side then. And it's just like, yo, like the fact they introduced all these people so you can see them go head to head was just so dope. Heck, I only wish the Hulk was in it, but that wouldn't have been fair anyway. So it was like, because whoever side he would have been on, I don't know who would have matched up well except for Wanda. Maybe that's about it. I think What If gave us a version of what that probably would have been like. That's about the only thing I can think. If Hulk wasn't like in outer space by that point, and he was in that storyline, then I guess Wanda and Hope would have been the only fight scene to make it believable. But other than that, man, it was just one of those things where it was just like, this is it. Like, this was cool. Civil War still, to this day, I watch that and still mark out like that fight scene with Cap, Iron Man, the Shield, just all of that was so cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then not to mention, again, the storyline, we're talking about stories and fathers being killed. Iron Man with his fact of Bucky and like, wait a minute. Tell me this guy is the reason my dad, you know? So that storyline, like you had two revenge storylines in like one movie where it was like, and you felt for both of them. You know?
Iron Man's reaction to finding out, it wasn't even the fact that Bucky killed his dad. It was the fact that Cap knew, and that acting Robert Downey did to show how hurt he was to find out Cap would hold that from him.
Yeah.
Woo! That was
telling you.
It was how I would feel if somebody had to do something like that about me.
I'm telling you. So I had to include that right there at number 3. Like Civil War is always going to be like in the top for me because I can still go back and watch that and love it. Number 2, speaking of going back and watching it, it's always going to be Black Panther for me because I literally love that movie. As Derrick emphasized, I mean, culturally, I remember the experience first seeing it, how I felt after seeing it, the fact that as soon as I got a chance, I got that movie and literally bought it for every platform I could think of, from my Xbox to my iPhone to like everything. And anyhow, I could watch that movie and pull it up at any time and just rewatch it. And I still feel that, that dynamic of, this culture versus that culture, like feeling what it is, and how they were able to take something cultural related and put it in a film like that and still kind of give you a visual of, like you said, of a whole different world, like Wakanda, and just like seeing the civilization like hidden from everywhere else. And you're like, man, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like telling its own story arc. There's not much I can really say that Derrick didn't already say about Black Panther. I mean, it's one of those movies I know I can definitely replay and still love. I'm just intrigued to see how they're gonna try to replicate what was organic with this first one with that. Chadwick, another guy that really dedicates himself to a role with anything he plays, and how he really dedicated himself, as we saw just from that little bit of Civil War. And when he finally just had like his own screen time, it was like this man dedicated himself to this role and like trying to figure out what the story's gonna be from here with him gone. I don't know if they can replicate that. I don't know.
It's easy.
It is probably the most difficult task in all of Hollywood right now. Is to somehow make a Black Panther movie without Chadwick Boseman. And like,
it's a little easy though.
Yeah, I mean, you can go the Shuri direction, right? And or you're doing
M'Baku.
Just a whole different Black Panther, because it's the mantle, right? We're not talking about the person. We're talking about the character, the mantle. Right. That's why I'm like, I don't think we should have a recast for the character. Just get a new Black Panther.
Right. We don't need a new T'Challa. So the thing is,
just introduce Storm that way.
Remember, the basis of the Black Panther movie is everybody in every tribe has an opportunity to challenge the mantle and become the Black Panther, right?
Yes.
So whether that is Shuri wanting to be it, she may not want to be in this MCU canon, right? Or M'Baku stepping up, as he probably did, the 5-year gap, right?
Yeah.
As I'm pretty confident he was one of the main guys, right? Or maybe there was actually a Black Panther. Remember, when they die, they're supposed to give the Black Panther mantle to someone else. How do we know if T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace, if he was still alive, what if the plot was going to be, is he still the Black Panther, right? Because in reality, when he got snapped, they had to make a choice to bring a new Black Panther on. In the 5-year gap. So was that M'Baku? It wasn't Shuri? She was snapped away. So realistically, is now the battle going to be Shuri is going to try to take that mantle back, or M'Baku gets to keep the mantle? Like, somebody is Black Panther already.
Which is why I was thinking it's either M'Baku or Killmonger.
Mm-hmm. I thought that too. You can take Killmonger's character. I mean, yeah, realistically, we quote unquote think he's dead, but I mean, there's plenty of ways to say he's not in so many ways. Yeah, there's that too. So
I only say this because of context. So obviously, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, one of Chadwick's siblings, I believe his brother, said he was not opposed to the idea of Disney recasting him. Obviously, correct me. Obviously, because obviously so. I don't want to. Yeah, I know a family member of some kind spoke out about that. Mm-hmm. And to which basically like the message was Chadwick would want that, right, to have the character living on. I believe in the recast because I think T'Challa's story is not done, right? Mm-hmm. And I think there are a number of actors who could sort of take on that role, but at the same time too, it is sort of like that mental aspect of, do I really want to sort of like assume someone else's legacy when they can easily just write, and like you said,
it's a battle that's unnecessary to have.
I don't know how they just do this, man. Like they're going to honor Chadwick, right? Yes. Somehow there's going to be some mention of T'Challa. There has to be. He just came back from the snap. So narrative speaking, which it kind of feels wrong to even talk about this, but it's the reality. Life moved on, and Chadwick himself would want people to move on. Yeah. Chadwick had an Endgame in sight. Like he knew Endgame was almost it, right? Except for What If, and I think he recorded a little bit of What If before Endgame. Yeah. He knew for 5 years this is going to happen, and knowing Chadwick Boseman and the icon he is as far as everything outside of Marvel, like just being that cultural impact, he knows how much T'Challa / Black Panther means to the Black community, to have that Black superhero, to have that representation, even Black woman with Dora Milaje, and I mean that. If he didn't write a note, you don't even need it, right? Like he didn't need to say continue the legacy of Black Panther T'Challa. Don't worry about me, because I did my job. I brought that to the screen. Let that next person do it. So I'm really, really interested to see how they do it. They don't need to sugarcoat it. He passed. It's sad. Yeah. Continue that story. Continue that legacy for him and for T'Challa as well.
I'll say this much too. I don't think this will not be the case. I confidently say this. If Black Panther 2 turns out to be like a quote unquote bad movie, right? I'm not going to fault them.
Because
you had to, like, Ryan Coogler had to single-handedly restructure an entire story in what, like 3 months before they had to start shooting. He had to rewrite a story like quickly.
And we know it's not. So film writing is, and I'm sure you guys definitely, especially Derrick, knows, like, film writing is not something that when you have something done that right, and then it, like, suddenly because of tragic passing, you gotta now go back and restructure it all character by character. So it's interesting, man. We're gonna see. I'm very curious. It's definitely when you talk about anticipated Marvel movies, I'm anticipated to see like how that turns out based off what we've been. I guess the only thing on a note like that, of course, connection unstable. Wait, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Connection unstable pops up. I'm like, wait, let me make sure I'm not okay. No, it's always tough for that number one spot. There's so many. I feel like I leave ones out. I could go an obvious route, and I could cheat and say 1A, 1B here, but I'm not going to do that, you guys. I'm going to pick my solid film here.
Right.
I'm going to give this edge right now, and it could just be in the moment, but I'm also going off nostalgic views here. And I'm going to give this one right now to Spider-Man No Way Home.
Wow.
I'm going to... It's crazy because I know some people, again, everybody will be like, man, you're overrating that. And it's like, nah, man, it's really dope so far. Like, I mean, again, from this point on, we could see this with any Marvel movie. And I think this is the first one to show like, yo, 3 generations in one movie is, and to make it so smooth where it told everybody's own individual stories slightly, but still kept it about the main Spider-Man overall. Right. Like Toby and them didn't steal the show from from Tom Holland at all. They literally had their moment. Toby got his moment. They asked him like, "So how's things in your world?" Hey, MJ's fine. If they do this 4th one, I am curious to see like, are they just gonna show like did him and MJ finally get it together or what? They still got their drama? What's going on? I don't know. Andrew Garfield still struggling with the fact that he couldn't save old girl. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't save her, bro. He couldn't save her.
I'll say this much though, because I know Derek, as soon as he heard the word MJ pop up, to his point, to his unspoken point. If you look at all 3 films, MJ cheated on every single one of her love interests.
Thank you. She does not deserve any bit of sympathy for whatever. Like, no.
She did.
Trash.
With Harry, tried going with Peter, right? Well, was originally with Flash, then went to Harry, went to Peter. Number 2 had the astronaut, went to Peter. 3 had Peter, then went back to Harry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, bro, I'm telling you right now. Yeah. I wish someone would try to use me as a rebound, bro.
Not gonna work for you.
And Peter was just standing there, just like, take me. No, man. Nah.
Where's Gwen Stacy at? Where's Gwen Stacy?
Yeah. I think.
Where's Gwen or Liz? Don't forget about Liz.
Yeah.
I think you're right doing that. It's definitely a nostalgic thing, and at the moment, No Way Home is definitely a 1, right? I was saying that right when I walked out the theater.
Yeah,
shut up. But it is. It brings a lot of generations. Characters that are amazing. Remember, Toby, just like Andrew and just like Tom, we're finding out now, they're all amazing actors.
They are.
Toby's been in some amazing movies outside of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, same thing with the TV show as well.
Yeah.
So we're really. I will say one thing: Sony has fucked up a lot, but they picked some damn good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They really have.
Yeah.
They really have. So. Look, we got to get into one last thing real quick, and it's gonna be something that some of us really don't like as far as the general speaking, but it's DC time, baby. All right, it's DC time. We're gonna get into what's the most recent movie that came out in DC, man? I'm not too familiar.
Trash. No, I'm joking. That's the Batman. The Batman. Literally the Batman. I'm gonna say it right now. I was saying it for months. Everyone kept clowning on me. I said Robert Pattinson will be the greatest Batman ever in live action. He was. If you don't think so, you're wrong. That's the end of the story. No conversation.
Listen. Hold on. So I will say this.
You're not wrong if you say otherwise. Just joking.
I'm gonna give my quick rating and tell you my one quick comment, and y'all can have at it. I'll jump in. But this Batman movie was easily a 9.5 or more, like 10, right? You can even say 10. Mm-hmm. I was very, very cautious to say Pattinson would be good. I didn't know. Like, I know he's a good actor, and he's one of the people that if you watch any of his other movies, he's amazing. Like, besides Twilight. Yeah. He had the Twilight dust on him, right? A lot of people are like, there's no way he was a freaking vampire, a love story, corny movie. Like, there's no way he can pull this off. He pulled it off. He made his character look great. The writing was amazing for it. It is a 10 out of 10. And the big thing for me is, and I will say this as far as compared to all the other Batman, Robert Pattinson was the best Batman we've ever seen in live action. He is not the best Bruce Wayne we've seen in live action. That sticks with Christian Bale, hands down. Okay. As far as Batman, though, this is the most accurate, at least. So maybe not best is subjective, right?
Yes.
This is the most accurate, and this is objective. The most accurate Batman we have ever seen on screen. Period. Yes. This is a Batman that is a detective at heart. Mm-hmm. This is the Batman that solves things better than detectives in Gotham PD, right? This is what he did in the comics, and this is a Batman that fits the mold of year 2 Batman.
Yes.
Year two Batman.
Yeah.
He is still raw. I mean, we see him fly off with his cape, and you think he's gonna land perfectly.
Yeah.
Boom, lands into a car. Like that is so perfect, right?
Yes.
The fight scenes, his pure anger that now we find out was probably due to the what he dealt with the Joker in year one. He it is angry, emo to himself, mentally unhinged, still dealing with his parents without ever mentioning the parents, really, right?
Yes.
And all of that combined into one for early Batman, because we got to remember, Batman didn't really open up in either the comics or animated until Justice League came to be. Like Superman, and where Batman is versus Superman really has its issues, right? That's how Bruce opened up. Like Superman did really open him up to stop being that Batman. But as far as year two Batman without that influence from Cal, like this is Batman. That was a perfect iteration from director up even, and for the first time, and you guys will agree, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it has to be, DC. Warner Bros. Stayed out the way.
Yes.
Like they stayed out the fucking way. They didn't. You can just tell nothing was put in that. You know how I know the Warner Bros. Stayed out the way? That Joker scene didn't make it into the cut. There's no way WB says we know Heath Ledger and his impact and how great of a Joker. I mean, the dude literally died because he played that character, right? And rest in peace. They know how much Joker can have an impact on sales. It didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
It didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
They stayed out the way. And congratulations to them. And Matthew's talked about how their whole board of directors and everybody's all new at the top, and they're staying out the way, and they're letting Matt Reeves do his thing. Like it is clear on cinematography level, visuals, how the actors portrayed their characters. All of it has combined into an amazing Batman film. I will not say it's better than The Dark Knight, but I will say this Dark Knight is better than The Dark Knight in The Dark Knight. I'm telling you right now. Period. Dark Knight is obviously Heath Ledger and Joker and the villains and everybody else make the Dark Knight movie the best as a whole. But strictly at the character Dark Knight, nothing supersedes this period. Period.
And one thing I will say is the deleted scene from Joker, right? Right. I guarantee you Reeves did not want that in the cut. The scene we had in the theaters was not good. Not good at all. That felt unnecessarily forced. And I have a feeling Warner Brothers went, listen, no. We want Joker. We want Joker. Film us a quick scene. Give us 30-second scene. We want him in the movie. You got to put the scene back in, or you film something else. And Matt Reeves had to do that. Other than that, I can tell. Other than that, everything Matt Reeves wanted in this film made the cut. It's just I can tell that the Joker scene in the movie was not something Reason even want that, because the lead scene too is great. I think the actor does like a fairly decent job. We don't know if we can't consider him the best or the worst because he had like a 5-minute scene, but you can definitely tell that like if you were to keep that scene in, it would have felt redundant because he literally reviews the third act. Like he reveals Riddler's character, because Riddler's character confirms everything Batman suspected about him. Yeah. So if Joker literally gave that answer to Batman, because I like the idea of Joker getting underneath like Batman's skin. I really like that concept. It's just I don't know. It would have lessened the impact of the interrogation scene if Joker had literally gave Batman answers ahead of time. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because he still had more mystery to resolve. So we had that at the forefront of his mind. Then he sort of had, you know what I mean? Like there's still like a peak, because the idea is that like Batman is discovering like who Riddler is as a person via these mysteries, and if he already has like what that is, he already knows who he is ahead of time. Doesn't help much of anything. So that's what my perspective on it. But great movie though.
Derek, I need your thoughts, man. I need your rating out of 10. So I need your thoughts. I know you have your deep thoughts on this guy.
Yeah. So out of 10, I agree. This is the most accurate we've seen of Batman in terms of being a detective. I completely agree with you on that one.
Yes,
completely agree with you on that. I think it was phenomenal in terms of him, like you said, having his, quirks and stuff like that, still trying to figure things out. Nothing is perfect, but you can still see that he is working things out. I will say one thing that everybody like got on Robert Pattinson about, which I still don't understand. The eye black. Everybody said that he's the emo Batman. If y'all actually go back and watch, Michael Keaton wore eye black. So what are we talking about? What's the issue with Robert Pattinson wearing it?
Yeah,
Batman in general wears eye black. You know what I'm saying?
I like it because it's like a better way to hide his disguise.
That's how you disguise yourself.
And I love how we actually see the eye black when he removes the cowl. Right. There are many situations where he removes it and nothing is underneath him.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Again, that shows how Matt Reeves is very what's the word I'm looking for? Like articulate about those about those details. You know what I mean?
Yes. No, I agree. I completely agree. And I think that I loved them not putting the Joker in this one as well, because the only other Riddler that we've seen two. Jim Carrey's version, right?
Yeah,
but also in Gotham.
Series. Gotham's so good though. I love Gotham.
It's amazing.
Underrated show.
Amazing.
I need to rewatch that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I thought that Riddler was really good. But
right.
This one was very intriguing because the mask thing I didn't understand at first, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I love seeing Batman's progression from being a symbol of vengeance to being a symbol of hope. So I love, like, this was a perfect film, to be completely honest.
And people had problems with like the lack of Bruce Wayne. It was intended. I think Matt Reeves has a great. So the fact that it was strictly vengeance.
Yes.
This is Bruce Wayne staying within himself and not wanting to be that guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
He wanted to be the Dark Knight, in literally and figuratively the Dark. And not have to deal with the stuff we saw maybe Bruce Wayne deal with in the Dark Knight trilogy. Like it's refreshing. Like now we'll maybe see more Bruce Wayne.
I think we will.
Robert Pattinson,
this is
obviously
more cleaned up
range.
Too. More, I think we'll see him more into that role of an asshole Batman. Bruce Wayne. I think we'll see that going forward.
This is someone who doesn't realize the importance of the Bruce Wayne persona.
Right.
And everyone acts as if, Bruce Wayne needs to smile. He's at a funeral.
Yeah.
Like we're expecting to do crack a joke. So you have to remember, because you remember, like there.
If you look at all the animated movies and shows though, does Bruce Wayne really ever smile?
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne has a sternness.
He smacked Barbara's cheeks, whatever, in the one animated series.
What?
The
Killing Joke.
Yeah.
In the animated
whatever,
movie.
whatever. Yeah. The man didn't even put up any fake. Like, he's on the phone with girls. She's like, it was just sex, blah blah. He's like, whoop. No reaction. Like, Batman just is like that. Like, he never really had emotion. That's cool.
Yeah.
And we don't really, honestly, I think in one of the Justice League movies we see, it's crazy because you literally have to really research to see when he shows emotion.
Yes.
I think actually it wasn't Killing Joke. It was after one of the Robins died, and Black Cat, not Black Cat.
Under the Red Hood.
Yes, Under the Red Hood.
Yes.
He cried with Cat.
Yes.
I think that's literally the only time I've seen him cry.
Yeah.
And all animated and live action.
Oh no, I think that might have also been Injustice when Dick Grayson died.
Oh, yes.
I think you're thinking about that.
I didn't see
Batman and Catwoman.
If you guys have HBO Max, check out the Injustice.
I'll check that out. Yeah,
it's rare, right? The point being, it's just rare. It's rare to have for Bruce.
Yeah, and I'll say this much though: what made me fall in love with Robert Pattinson was not only the opening narration where he said, like, "I am the shadows," and then he emerged out of the darkness, and then obviously beat those thugs.
Yeah,
but it was him at the funeral. and how there's an emphasis on him, because an important component of Batman is his compassion.
Yes.
And to see another child in the same position he was all those years ago, that like devastates him on the inside. That's why there's like he has this like seriousness to his face, and like a clear, like there's a clear devastation.
It's compassion without emotion, which is amazing. Like, and I think Pattinson is going to be able to pull that off.
It's method hard. Acting. It's method acting.
Yes. Did you believe? I didn't.
I believe.
I don't know. Pattinson can do it.
I know. Oh, I'll tell you what. If you saw, I forgot the name of the movie, but he did a movie that was on Netflix with Tom Holland, like within the last 2 years. Time? Yes. If you saw that movie, you could see the range that he has. That I believed he could pull off, but I didn't think he was going to be like great. I wasn't excited for this film, to be completely honest. I really was not excited.
Right.
But watching it, I'm compelled. I want to see DC actually revamp the DCEU with this Batman, because I was honestly like, before this one, I'm like, okay, no, Ben Affleck's version was the perfect way to actually reset everything and just like move forward. And still to this day, I still believe he's the best Batman Bruce Wayne combo. No one will ever sway me on that. But I do think
you stayed on that opinion.
Yes, I'm sticking with that, because there's a lot of elements in terms of the fight choreography that we saw with his Batman I have not seen with any other Batman. He was ferocious. He could turn his head. There's fluidity in his movements. And honestly, with this one too, there was fluidity because he could turn his head in this one too. But these are the only two that can do that. And that's why I think they actually sit. Like, I would love to rank the Batmans with y'all, but I do think I'm gonna already just go ahead and tip my hand. I think they are the top two. Hands down. Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson have put their stamp on that character, and I think that they sit there for me for sure. And I'm excited to see Robert's costume evolve, because this costume was intriguing, right? But I wasn't sold on the arm. Whatever those bars were on his arm. I wasn't sold on that. But I think we'll start seeing the evolution in his suit, and it'll get better. Like you said, he had trouble with the flying and stuff like that. I think we'll see some other things for him in the next couple of years, where there's going to be an evolution and he becomes the Batman that we know.
Right.
This is still a young Batman, so I'm okay with the technical issues. I'm okay with him still figuring things out. I actually like seeing that. There's vulnerability to the Batman that we've not seen before. So I love that. I'm perfectly fine with it.
It answers the question for people, like, how would Batman work in real life? Like,
yes,
at that point, it doesn't really work. Like,
yes. And then ask you, what about you, Dwayne? Like, where do you stand? Like, where does Pattinson, as a whole, for the movie, what are your thoughts? And then does Pattinson rank highly amongst some of the previous Batman, maybe like live action or even animated? Something like we feel that animated too.
I ain't talking about animated.
Oh yeah, because animated, we know animated Batman is the best Batman of all time. In general, animated Batman's on everything. He's on the games. He's on the TVs. He's all that. But if we're talking about these live action ones, I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna compare. The more I think about it, the more I realize I'm not going to compare these Batmans as much as I should, because they're all different eras. And at some point, one day, eventually, this Batman gives me Tom Holland's Spider-Man vibes of Homecoming. Homecoming, people had their critiques. And Jonathan, is the Marvel guy mostly, right? Like Homecoming had its critiques. I don't like this techie Spider-Man. What's all this tech? It's like, that's not Spider-Man. He's just getting stuff that Tony Stark's giving him, X, Y, Z. Right. Okay. but what did you just see, and how long did it take when you got to where you're at now with No Way Home, and you see the ending of No Way Home, and you're like, oh snap, I get it. This is the Spider-Man I know, but this is the Spider-Man it took to get to that Spider-Man. This is Batman right now. Robert Pattinson's Batman is now going to set up so that, I'm going to be honest, I have never seen Batman Begins in full. And what this made me want to do, since everybody talks about Christian Bale's Batman so hard,
I think that freezing was deserved.
I think
I'm gonna go back. I've never seen Batman Begins. I really haven't. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have never, not in full. I've seen parts of it. I've just never really sat and watched Batman Begins. I don't know what made me not get around to watching it. I just never really. I remember seeing like it, but never really sitting and watching it. Dark Knight, I do remember, and I also remember how highly standard it is. And I'm like, all right, cool, with reason, because I get it. Everybody likes the Joker, X, Y, Z. You know, it's they're always forever connected. What I like about this one the most, I do like that someone else got a chance, villain wise. Of course, they had to throw the Joker in there because, to your point, Jonathan, Warner Brothers did not interfere in this, but they, even with that, they give you a little ounce of Joker because they can't help themselves. They got to give you the Joker in some type of fashion. Yep. Yeah. Hopefully, this Joker's in a Hannibal Lecter type of role, and you don't really see him, but as somebody like what you saw in that scene, hopefully, you know, because it's not fair. I feel like if you put him in a role right now, all it's going to do is allow people to try to be like, oh, they're just trying to be Dark Knight, because that's what they did with this Riddler. People are trying to say, oh, you know, oh man, Paul Dano just basically is a rip-off version of Heath Ledger's Joker. And it's like, no, not at all.
I've seen an argument before, sadly enough. I saw an argument.
Wow. Yeah, you know, I was looking, I'm like, nah, I disagree, because when I watched it, I felt,
that's interesting. I never even heard that before.
Yeah,
it's. He was saying it's a knockoff. I mean, hit a beam freeze.
Yeah, because everyone is always like, which is better, the Dark Knight or the Batman? And then they think, you know, yeah. Oh, sorry, Dwayne. You go ahead.
No, you're good. I was waiting on the moment to jump back in when I could. I was like, okay, now we're back to reality. Overall, I mean, truth be told, there's a lot I like about this film. I don't want to compare it to the others yet, because I know I have to see the sequels that are inevitable. We're going to get these sequels. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking forward to the evolution, because I guarantee, you know, I do agree with Derek's point. This is the perfect Batman to go ahead and rebuild every other DCU character you want to put in. They're going to probably try to do this with the Flash, knowing DC for some reason, but I hope the writers of
I do not want to see that.
I don't either, but I am, because you know me, shitty product.
Yeah.
Give it up. It's been a few hours too. His bandwidth is probably going crazy right now.
Yeah.
See, this is crazy.
There we go.
It's all right.
No, you're all good.
All good. Oh, I think you froze again, right?
Yeah. There we go. All right. Oh,
I didn't know it was gonna do me like that.
No, you're all good.
Isn't it funny? It didn't do that on Riverside, man. It was all smooth on Riverside. Zoom, maybe it's a Zoom thing. I'm starting to think this is Zoom.
We'll get the Riverside thing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But
so
go ahead, guys.
Mentioned the. No, you're good.
So right, what was? So I'll just say I was your rating.
I was gonna say, so the rating on this one, I definitely give this one a solid 10 all around, like you guys, because I mean, I'm hearing what some people think. I feel like they're not being fair enough if they're really trying to say, like, they talk about the story and everything, and they're not looking at Batman. That's why I want to go back and watch Batman Begins, because I didn't get to watch that to see how that origin story went of that Batman and it led to the Dark Knight Batman, right? And I feel like this Robert Pattinson version of Batman is going to lead to his own Dark Knight classic somewhere.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so. Yeah.
He'll get his version of a Dark Knight where you're gonna be like, man, that movie is arguably better, you know, or right there with it, you know, it's gonna happen eventually. And this is just a setup for that. So you have to, you know, and this Batman really, just like y'all said, I got Arkham Batman vibes when I was watching this. I felt like I was watching the game in real life watching this. I felt like
best, arguably some of the best series of games we've ever seen.
Hot take though. Mm-hmm. Batman Arkham Asylum is the best in that series.
Ooh, it's funny because everybody says Arkham City. Mm-hmm. I would say I like Arkham Knight, honestly, but Arkham Asylum is definitely underrated.
I mean, that just speaks to how great they all are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, I think we're all on agreement here. We're all 10s for the Batman. I think it falls. It's going to be two simple things. Keep trusting in Matt Reeves to keep this thing going with the spinoffs and whatever else he's doing. Mm-hmm. And WB needs to stay out of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As long as those two things happen, sign them checks, let them full creativity. I'm just not sure that they can actually do that.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see if they do. But as always, you know, all good things come to an end, just like the Batman did. So I think we're rounding up this little episode here. Yeah. But you know, of course, I just want to thank everybody for jumping in and hanging out and coming to watch this thing. We love doing it. But Derrick, so tell people where they can find you. Everywhere, probably. But where can they find you?
Oh man, if you want to follow me, that's fine. At Derrick_OTS, DERRICK, the black way to spell it. But more so just follow the brand. I'm more active on the OTS accounts than I am on my personal accounts. But OTS Media Co, all social media platforms, OTS Media on YouTube. You can check us out on the website otsmediaco.com. You can check out all the shows we have on there. We Can Be Heroes. I'm just glad that you guys are back. You know, this is fun, man. But please rate, review, let us know what you guys think specifically about the show. Let us know what you guys think, and you know, give some feedback. We love to hear from you guys. And that's pretty much it.
Dwayne, where can they find you? Apple Music, first of all, I'm going to say that.
Apple Music.
Fine, or at Spotify, wherever you guys want to find them.
Yeah.
Listen to Highlight Reel. Dope vibes. Man. Love it.
Hey, thank you, brother. It's an honor to hear that, you know, from one of the best. You know, love this show first and foremost. We Can Be Heroes, man. It's great to be back on. I think this is time number 2 for me. You know, find your boy at Highlight Life, HILITE Life on Twitter, Instagram. Who knows, man? You never know, man. Probably next time I'm on, I may have a project or a mixtape that's superhero themed, man. You just never know. You know, sometimes when I'm coming on shows like this, it gets the juices flying, you know, and I'm like, I might a bit for everybody, just for my nerds out there. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, like Derrick, follow the brand though, man. When I'm not an artist, I'm right here on this platform. We got awesome shows such as We Can Be Heroes, Past the Ox, Life's a Botch, Sideline Guys. I mean, the list goes on, man. We cover all things of what you like, you know, from sports, heroes, film, TV, music, all those good stuff, man. So just follow the brand, man, at OTS Media Co. and engage. Definitely engage with us, man. We want to hear from y'all. So comment, man. Rate this show. You know, let them know what you think. How do y'all like the Batman, man? How do y'all like? What's your top 5 MCU movies of all time? We need to hear from y'all in the comments, man. You know, let us know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Matt, where can they find you, little brother?
Matt_T29 over our Instagram. So it's METT_ and then TEE. 29. Just thank you so much for the support. I love talking to these two, especially. I feel like it's been of what seems like ages, like 15 centuries since we last talked.
Time be going fast and slow at the same time.
But no, like I said, we're always, and this is of it, directed obviously to our guests and to you two as well. Like anytime you ever want to hop on, just talk about stuff. Like we love having you guys, especially, and anyone else is willing to sort of have that interaction. We just thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Just so you know, when you hop on, though, I'm always right. So just no point to no. So I'll double down. Jon_OTS on social media, but honestly, just go follow the brand. I'm with you guys. OTS Media Co. New shows, old shows that are going to continue to go for a while. Watch all the shows and listen to most of the shows on podcasts while I'm working. Look, every single view you guys give to us, we appreciate it. We love it. We hope you guys love the show. Derek and Dwayne, you guys are welcome on. Obviously, whenever Derek, you own it, so you literally can make yourself come on whenever you want. No, but honestly, like we love to just talk about the stuff all the time. We do it in text, we do it randomly. All of us, right? In group text with OTS or whatever. So we just come on and talk about it on the show and enjoy it. So OTS Media Co. Go follow.
Yes, sir.
But hey, this week of Be Heroes, man. This is my twin. This is me. That's Derek, the Black Way, and my man Highlight Reel. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.